Morning, good morning, good morning. What's up, folks? JT here with another Chart Talk live session brought to you by Xtrades. Hope everybody is doing well. Let me get over to the chat here. Let me make sure. Yep, YouTube looks good. All right, chat window there. Let's get over to the Chart Talk live chat. What's up, LB? What's up, new trader? Good morning, folks. Hope you guys are doing well. All right. We got a pretty limited number of tickers to review. I've been dealing with some health stuff in and out over the last, few weeks, really. Um, so apologies that we've had to cancel a couple of the recent live streams last minute, but hopefully starting next week, things will be in much better shape moving forward. Um, so anyway, we've got a few trade plans to review. We'll take a look at ES, and then of course we'll get to some new ticker requests here live that we'll work on to build some trade plans together and be ready to execute those as those setups develop. So let me just real quick get an announcement out. All right. What are we seeing here from an ES perspective? Obviously, we've had a massive pullback after the trade tensions between the U.S. and China were reignited or stoked back into a fire with Trump's recent announcement of some tariffs potentially as high as 100% against China. China is making announcements about retaliating. All of that has led to a lot of volatility in the markets, a lot of new uncertainty on things that I think the market by and large felt like had already been resolved. So the one thing that the market, the market can handle good news and it can handle bad news. The one thing that it does not tolerate well is uncertainty, and I would say um, that this recent uh, uh, escalation in the tensions between the U.S. and China regarding trade has certainly brought a lot of uncertainty back to the markets from a global perspective. With that being said, we've obviously seen a big drop here on ES, pulled way back down. It's since bounced and had a pretty decent bounce, close to a 50% retracement there, but struggling to recapture one of the key levels that we've had on watch for a while now here at 67.15. We actually just rejected that yesterday evening and have been pulling back ever since. Still do have the 333 SMA below there, right around 65.93, adding a nice confluence of support. Overall, SMAs still pointed toward the upside, but we are starting to flip some things bearish here from an NTS perspective. Definitely, I would say trade very cautiously. I mean, certainly not the worst thing to do to perhaps start loading some positions, some longer term exposure on some names that have maybe been running a little too hot. To go ahead and start adding some, starter size positions on some of those names that you've been waiting for a pullback on. That being said, I would make sure that you have a very clear and definitive stop loss in place on anything that you start loading that way. If we do continue to the downside and the market does continue to correct towards some bearish momentum, that you'll at least know when it's time to cut your losses and then start looking for a better re-entry point. That's just my take on things from an ES perspective. There you go, new trader. Hopefully that gives you what you were looking for. But if you have any other specific questions, please feel free to ask those. But with that, that kind of, I think, does it for the market overview. Let's dig into some trade plan recaps and then let's work on some new trade plans here together this morning. So if you all have any ticker requests that you want me to take a look at while we're working together this morning, please feel free to start dropping those in the chat, as well as any questions you might have about trading just in general. Happy to answer as many of those as I possibly can while we work on these trade plans. Let's get to our trade plan recaps. Bo knows wants to take a look at INTC. Sure, we'll take a look at that, Bo. happy to do it. Can we look at fun? Yeah, sure. We'll take a look at fun as well. All right. So, trade plan recaps. What do we got? We got IREN here. This was on our trade plan requests from last Tuesday. IREN's been a very tricky one. Keeps giving us breaks to one side or the other, and then those breaks just aren't getting follow through. As we can see here, break to the downside, no real follow through. Break to the upside, actually broke back to the downside and actually started hitting some price targets. That was on that China news tariff announcement, though, so that probably had quite a bit to do with it. It does seem like it's trying to start to build a more consistent path to the upside, though, here pre-market and over the last few days. So IREN looking to potentially give us a confirmed break one way or the other and hopefully start hitting some price targets. Oh, whoops. Thank you, LB. I forgot to hit share screen. My bad. There you go. Now you should be able to see some things. Let me go back to ES real quick just so you guys can see this chart. I'm sorry. It totally slipped my mind to do that this morning. Yeah, this is the ES chart. Like I said, I'm talking about it. Checked that key entry level, broke down below the other key level, pulling back, now pulling it, still nothing. That's weird. Let me try that again. Got it. Okay, you should see it now. All right, so sorry about that, folks. I didn't realize I forgot that step this morning. And sitting here just talking away without you all being able to see anything. My apologies. So, again, rejected that key level there at 67.15, pulling back. There is a nice confluence down here with the 333 SMA at 65.93. So that would be an interesting level to watch as we try to see when the market's going to bounce and try to get some movement in a consistent direction. So that was a quick recap on ES. Getting to IREN now that we were just talking about a moment ago. And again, this one's been a little bit frustrating. Keeps giving us breaks to one side or the other, just no follow through. And then we had our drop down below the put entry going into the EOD on last Friday. It did wind up hitting some price targets after hours, but since then has rallied back to the upside, gave us a break above the call entry there yesterday, and is now trying to bounce off the call stop loss average down level and retesting that call entry here. Pre-market at 65.54. So ultimately, IREN's been a little bit of a challenge, but looks like it might be trying to build some solid footing to actually make a push through to hit some of these price targets, which would be new all-time highs for IREN. So keep an eye on this one. We could see a blue sky breakout if we do get to PT1 and clear over that. EVgo, this one was also from last Tuesday's live stream. It's really been kind of nothing to see here the whole time until we got to last Friday with the market events that took place and things dropping quite rapidly. EVgo followed suit, made it all the way down to PT1, caught that nicely as support, and has bounced since, trying to break back over the stop loss average down here that has some confluence with the 200 SMA there at 478. I would say if it can get over that, EVgo might be an interesting one to go ahead and start a long position on, and look for price targets at the call entry, and then our price targets from there. Use the put entry as your stop loss average down if you follow this idea. What's up, Brian? Good morning to you. Good to see you over in YouTube. Apple Hut. Got some requests over on the YouTube side of things. We'll take a look at one of those for sure. So EVgo, again, ultimately looks like it could create an opportunity here, potentially earlier entry opportunity than what we had looked at previously, if it can give us a confirmed break over 478. And then last but not least, Dell. This one did give us a break to the upside, did hit some price targets, and has since pulled back. No confirmation to the downside as of yet. 200 SMA coming up underneath here. Going to add some support confluence there at 147.09. Dell could get interesting and might try to push again if it can break over 152.24. So keep an eye on that level. That's the call stop loss average down. Obviously, better confirmation if you can get over 155.97 at the call entry level. But potential earlier, more aggressive entry there at 152.24. If we can get a confirmed break over that, we might see Dell try to continue to push this recovery move back to the upside. All right. So, yeah, sorry, folks, for the issues with not sharing my screen from the outset there. My apologies. All right. So, let's get to some new ticker requests here. What do we got this morning? Bo Knows was in here bright and early with INTC. Let's take a look at Intel. All right. A little bit of a gap down right into this weekly support. Caught that nicely and is trying to bounce off of it. But let's get our bearings on this real quick. All right. So where does Intel look interesting? We do have a gap overhead to fill. We get into that gap there at 36.57, gets filled right around 37.21. I'm a little bit torn on this one, to be perfectly honest. All right. You know what? Let's take a shot at this. This might be a bit of an early aggressive entry, but I think there's a shot that if it can break into this gap, break above this level here at 36.57, I think it'll fill the gap, but it looks like it could also continue to retest this weekly resistance overhead. So looking for that move to 36.57 up to 38.07. Stop loss average down. Pre-market low that we're testing here this morning at 35.50. Probably gonna have to go way the hell back in time to ever find Intel trading up in the, well, not as far back as I thought. I was gonna say to find it trading anywhere in the 35 plus range. Yeah, I would definitely look at 39.05 as a PT2, and then we can take a shot up here at 40.06. Oops. All right, so that's the upside plan situated. Let's see where this gets interesting for downside. Hmm. Come on, give me some candlesticks. Let's go. Here we go. Hmm. Yeah, I think we could take a shot at this on a confirmed break below 34.51. I think that'll take us down to a first target here at 33 flat. It's actually already good to go. Yeah, 31.40 is going to be a very important level when we do test it. And then, yeah, I'd say 30.03. So let's lock this in. Let's clean these up real quick. All right, so let's lock this plan in. Hey Matt, we'll try to take a look at one of those for you. I got a lot of requests on the list already, but I'll try to get to as many as possible, even if it's just a quick look and not a full trade plan. Try to take a look at everything that's been requested this morning within the time that we've got available. This is a shared stop loss average down there at 35.50. Okay. Looks good. So let's clean up this chart. Actually, I just need to do that. There we go. All right. All right, here comes your INTC live stream plan. Let's get this up in chat. Let's lock this into our template. And let's get our alerts set. Piloting alert 1 hour. We'll have this expire next Monday, close of business. All right, so let's recap this real quick and then we'll get to our next trade plan request. What are we looking for here on Intel INTC? We're looking for a break over 36.57. That should give us price targets at 38.07, 39.05, and 40.06 with a stop loss average down at 35.50. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 34.51. That should bring price targets at 33 flat, 31.40, and 30.03 with a shared stop loss average down with that upside trade plan there at 35.50. Those are your Intel live stream plans. Let's go. All right. What do we got next? We had fun, and that was actually requested previously, and I didn't get a chance to get to it, or actually didn't get a chance to get to it because I had to cancel last Thursday's stream. So let's check out fun. Okay, fun. What does I know this name? I know I've looked at this before. Oh, it's Six Flags. Never mind. I'm thinking of somebody else. I feel like there was like a Fun Run or some other company that was like in the tech space or something. So Six Flags, trading decent volume, recent board changes. All right, let's see what we can come up with for this one. I've definitely never charted it before. So let's zoom out. coming up on an interesting, was that COVID? Yeah, COVID lows coming up here on fun. But the bigger question is, where are our key support and resistance levels? Then we can start talking about trade plans. Fun. Six Flags. Didn't they just have like some crazy incident on one of their roller coasters, like a new roller coaster that they just opened up? Forget what the whole story was, but I feel like I said maybe it wasn't Six Flags, but I thought it was. Yeah, it does look like a good level. Okay. Sorry, I was just getting my bearings there for a second. Interesting double bottom there. Let's go back. Just want to see what that. Although 607, I'd be surprised if we get there anytime soon, but who knows. All right, so we've got sufficient weekly levels on here, so let's start digging into some of these smaller time frames. Find those support and resistances that we could not see on the weekly chart. This one definitely has very kind of, I don't know, price action's not the cleanest, I guess is probably the right way for me to say what I'm trying to say. That's okay. I mean, it doesn't, not the end of the world, just makes the chart a little harder to read. Let's check a little bit lower for some daily levels. Come on, let's go. Yeah, it's decent. Real Traveler, I will try to find or show you. Well, I haven't put them together for today yet, as far as key levels for SPY, but I'll try to get those put together. Here, just a few. Better late than never, as they say. All right, I think we're pretty good on those daily levels. Let's just take a look at this 4-hour chart real quick, and then we'll get this trade plan rocking. Yeah, that is an interesting confluence there. Let's take a look at this. All right, so starting to see some signs of a trade plan here. Question is, where's a good stop loss average down for that upside plan? Yeah, and there could be a potential earlier entry there at 2291, but I think the window of opportunity looks a lot better above 2435. So I'm going to go with that. Not for options. Yeah, got it. Shares only on this one. No problem. We like to trade shares as well. All right. So, question is now the downside trade plan. Come on. Give me some price action. There we go. Good old COVID will get the dip that we're looking for. All right. So this could get interesting on a break below 1949. If it does break 1949, there is still a small gap to fill. Takes us down to 1661, which I think would make for a good first price target, potential bounce there. Second target. Let's go way back. I just want to see outside of crazy COVID moves. Well, as far back as we get on the 1-hour chart. So there we go. Go back to 2011 to find some levels. Yeah, okay. That's what I was hoping to see. So 1412, I would say, would be the next target. And ultimately, it could actually push a little bit below this weekly support. Could take us down as far as 11. I'll call it 11 flat, really. Stop loss average down. Yeah, I think we're looking at this 2136 level. All right, that's our plans sorted. Let's lock them in. So we are looking for a break over 2435 to take us up to 2705, then 2983, 3231, stop loss average down at 2291. Left flat, stop loss average down on that downside at 2136. Let's throw our indicators back on. Let's hide all these levels. So we're just looking at the key levels for our plan. There we go. That looks good. All right. So here comes your fun live stream plan. Definitely an interesting one to look at with shares. And let's get this over in the elite chat so we can get our link. Lock in our template. And of course, set our alerts. Cool. All right, so what are we looking for here on fun? Let's run through it one more time before we get to our next ticker request. We're looking for a break over 2435. That should bring price targets at 2705, 2983, and 3231 with a stop loss average down at 2291. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 1949. That should bring price targets at 1657, 1412, and 11 flat. With a stop loss average down at 2136. Those are your fun live stream plans. Let's go. All right, let's see. We had a few requests from YouTube. Yeah, thank you, Pradeep. I appreciate it. I'm actually not quite feeling better, and actually, this is probably, I'm going to take a quick pause. There won't be a live stream this coming Thursday. I hope to be able to do one a week from today. So next Tuesday, I am having neck surgery tomorrow, bright and early. So I'm gonna be, sidelined for a little bit while I recover from that. So there will be no live stream Thursday while I deal with that kind of recovery, day one, and all that sort of stuff. But based on what the surgeons are telling me and all that sort of stuff, I should be in good enough shape to at least sit at a computer and work on some charts and do all that sort of stuff by next week. So again, just a heads up in advance, there won't be a live stream Thursday because it'll be day one of recovery from that surgery, but I do plan on being back a week from today on Tuesday, the 21st. So, yeah, no, I'm glad you mentioned that, Pradeep, because I did want to get that announcement out. I didn't want people to show up Thursday and not know why there was nothing happening. So, anyway, looking forward to getting that done and hopefully having all of this pain out of my life. All right, so that being said, let's get to at least one of these YouTube requests. Apple Hut. Between the two of those, I'm a little bit more inclined to take a look at Apple, although Hut has been making some pretty decent moves. Let's just compare the two charts real quick and then we'll pick one. Whoa. Did HUD do a reverse split or something? Holy smokes. Doesn't look like they did. That's crazy. I remember trading HUD when it was in the, I don't know, eights, I think. Something like that. Wow. Quite the quite the impressive run here over the last few weeks. But that might make things a little bit more of a challenge. Yeah, let's go with Apple, just because I've already got some levels on the chart. It'll allow us to get through more trade plans uh, here this morning. So let's take a look at Apple. What looks good here? I'll tell you what looks good would be a break back above 251.35. Whoops. There's that all-time high. Recommended it too. What on Hut? Yeah, yeah. That's wild, man. It's certainly one that I traded back in the day, and then like crypto miners just kind of got very much detached from uh, the actual price action of crypto with the most recent halving of Bitcoin. And so that's when I stopped kind of paying as much attention to the miners because they just weren't moving very well. But I'll be damned if Hut's not absolutely just ripping faces off here lately. It's a ripper. All right. So where are we looking at for a push? Not totally sold on this 256.38, but well, got a recent push up to that all-time high. Let's take a look at how it behaved back then. There we go. Yeah, there is something right about here. Whoops. Right about there. I think makes for a good first price target. Second price target, obviously. We'd be silly not to scale out at all-time highs. Now the question becomes fib extensions. Which, yeah, I think we can start from here, take it to here. Would potentially, all right, let's take a look at these levels. So I'm looking at all right, so for Apple, upside trade plan. Sorry, Just take a look at this one level. Yeah, you know what? That could actually be just at this 248.65. Okay. All right, so where does downside really start to open up? I'd say it doesn't look ready for a real window of opportunity to the downside until we break below this 241.31. Below that, though, be looking at this weekly support here at 236.76. Below that, move down to 233.04. And ultimate price target for this downside move. See if it could be at 230.44, but I think there's a chance for it to go as low as 228.58. And the stop loss average down on this one. It's already looking at this level. I just need to block it in on the chart. Right, yeah, right about here. All right, cool. So let's get this locked in. 235 up to 255.97, 260.01, and 263.83. Stop loss average down at 248.65. Put entry 241.31, 236.76, 233.04, and 228.58. Stop loss at 244.94. There we go. All right, so let's clean this up. All right, that looks good. Let's get this posted. Here comes your Apple live stream plan. Let's get that posted in the elite chat. All right, let's get this locked in. And let's get our alert set. All right, let's go. Let's walk through this one last time. What are we looking for here on Apple? We're looking for a break over 251.35. That should bring price targets at 255.97, 260.01, and 263.83 with a stop loss average down at 248.65. To the downside, we're waiting for a break below 241.31. That should bring price targets at 236.76, 233.04, and 228.58 with a stop loss average down at 244.94. Those are your Apple live stream plans. Let's go. All right, let me take a quick look at some of these other names that I didn't get a chance to do a full trade plan for. But at the very least, I can take a quick look at them, give y'all some thoughts. Let's see. We had Apple Hut, LVS. What is that? Las Vegas Sands. So Las Vegas Sands looks pretty, bearish at the moment. I'd say it continues to look bearish, and I would wait to buy any dips until about somewhere around this 43.16 to 42.96. So that small little window could be a good area to try to buy the dip and load up for a bounce off of that. But yeah, overall looks super bearish. Las Vegas, I heard tourism there is way down. Looks like a ghost town essentially, which is got to be wild to see. I don't think doesn't matter what time of year I've been to Vegas, it's always busy. I would look at cutting this trade. So if you did buy that dip at, what did we say, about 42.86 all the way up to this 43.24, so somewhere in that little range. Let's just draw that out real quick. So if you buy in that range there, stop loss I would have right here at about 40.93. So that's a quick take on LVS, but overall looks like it's going to continue down until it gets into some of that key buy pressure and support. So hopefully that's helpful for you there on LVS. Eddie Mentium, let's take a quick look at QS Ion Q or Qubit. So let's take a look at Qubit. Yeah, Qubit, along with the rest of the quantum names, looking quite strong. Nice bounce out of the NTS buy pressure. SMA is just below there. Looks quite bullish. There was a little bit of a downtrend here that it looks like it may have already broken out of. Although let's make sure we actually have a downtrend before I go calling that out. No, not really off that candle. That looks solid though. So yeah, it looks like we are breaking out of a downtrend here on Qubit. I'd say it looks good for as long as 2030 is holding going into the open, and I would use that as my stop loss average down and over, or the target I'd be looking at. First target probably right around here at 2408. So that's kind of a quick read on it for you. Essentially buy the dip as long as 2030 is holding. Look for price target, profit target at 2408. I'd have my stop loss on this one. Yeah, right here at about 1924. So yeah, entry somewhere in that range as long as 2030 is holding. Stop loss at 1919, target at 2408, then all-time highs, and then potential new all-time highs. So that's a quick look at Qubit for you. All right, we are getting close to, what's up, Thug? Good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing well. All right, we are hitting about the 10-minute mark out from the, golly, that makes it hard to say, doesn't it? We're about 10 minutes out from market open, folks. Let's try that. There we go. So I'm going to use the remainder of this time before the market opens to go ahead and get to work on the SPY plan. I do appreciate you all joining me this morning. Again, friendly reminder that there will not be a live stream Thursday. I will be on day one of recovery from my double fusion in my neck that's taking place tomorrow. So thoughts and prayers are more than appreciated, but I do plan on being back next Tuesday morning. Again, the recovery is supposed to be, not too awful. Plan on being back next Tuesday, but again, no live stream Thursday as I will be recovering from that surgery. So please make a point to come back on Tuesday. I'll tell you how much better I'm feeling, and we'll get to work on some new trade plans and some new ticker analysis without a bunch of pain kind of distracting me in the background, which will be nice for a change. So, thank you all again for joining me. I really do appreciate it. As we always say here on Chart Talk Live, trade your plan, plan your trades, trade your plans. There we go. Remember, we're looking for profits, not perfection. So keep those wins big, keep those losses small. Go out there and get some green. I will see you all in the chats today, and I hope to be back at least in the chats by Friday. So. And that's the other thing. There won't be a SPY plan tomorrow. Surgery's at 7 a.m., so I will be uh, under anesthesia and on an operating table when the time comes to do the SPY plan tomorrow. So no SPY plan tomorrow. Hopefully there will be one Thursday, but possibly not Thursday. But I hope to be picking back up on those at the very least by Friday. Anyway, let's go. I do appreciate it. Let's get ready for market open. I'm going to go get this SPY plan put together. You all have a fantastic day, and I will see you back here next Tuesday morning at 8:30 a.m. Until then, take care. Have a fantastic week. Look forward to seeing y'all again soon.